Let's watch this. Did the My Hero Academia fandom get worse? Yes, because those My Hero Academia fans grew into insufferable 20-year-olds when they used to be just 14-year-olds that were cringe. Next question.
K-pop stans, Dream stans, Valorant players, Swifties.
Oh my god, stop. My heart can only take so much.
Sonic fans, Friday Night Funking, Bronies,
Oh my god.
Furries, and most definitely Has Been Hotel fans.
Oh man, I have a friend that really likes this, and she's always really embarrassed about it because the fandom is insufferable. Like, unironically, one of the worst fandoms ever.
And maybe
Hey, I'm a husband. No, I know, but I'm saying that, like, a lot of people have to suffer through it because 98% of the people are so fucking annoying. And horrible.
Jujutsu Kaisen fans as well.
True.
These are all communities where their reputation precedes them, mostly because from the outside, for one reason or another, a lot of them are described like they are the Nickelbacks of the internet,
God,
with the general assumption all participants of said groups radiate just as much ionizing cringe as
I'm getting secondhand cringe off the charts. And I love cringe too. Like, I used to watch cringe compilations when I was a teenager. It was really fun.
the people that unequip their entire lower half just to use a public urinal. I didn't mention One Piece or Dragon Ball Z fans there for a reason, because I would rather not have the cartel after me, or my street address posted online after just saying a single negative thing about either of them. Hell, if you even say you're a fan and you haven't watched all 1,000 episodes with subtitles and you don't know which one
and you didn't skip the filler at all, you can't call yourself a real One Piece fan, that's right.
Luffy's nuts stretch the lowest, they will not consider you a fan and will publicly shit on you for attempting to be one.
I mean, to be fair, Mr. Beast is a massive corpo shell and it was very obvious, but I do agree. There's a lot of people that don't think you're a real fan if you haven't watched all 900 million episodes.
But anyway, these communities have a reputation like this down to one similarity they all share, which is usually the smallest percentage of the community that commonly accounts for 5 to 10% of the whole fan base, that are usually the loudest, most visible part and the first thing outsiders encounter, which results in that instance being their initial and possibly only perception of the entire community. Even though the rest of the community may not be like this at all, they may just be silently enjoying that form of media or hobby.
Or not posting about it on their stupid TikTok or Instagram reels, and they're just enjoying themselves. Yeah, I get it.
Unfortunately, they will still share.
That's why I think, actually, unironically, I think VTubers get a lot of hate because there's a lot of fucking cringe-ass VTuber TikTok posts that I've seen circulating around.
Said reputation just for being associated with that thing. But those parts of the community are the ones that are seen the most, and are the people that either enjoy that form of media so much it will often be the only thing they post about. They are overly enthusiastic or serious about it to the point where it starts to become obnoxious or feel like they're trying to force it down
this shit is my kryptonite.
Your throat. Sometimes they base their entire personality around it. They mirror their own interests onto it. They obsess over it. In the worst cases, they cannot distinguish fiction from reality. And if you say anything about it that can even be remotely interpreted as negative, they will treat it like you have just slapped their elderly grandmother with a flaccid penis. And at some point, it goes well past just simply enjoying that thing. Which, with all that said,
the other thing is that these fandoms will be so glued together that they'll defend really abhorrent or stupid behavior. It's like, oh well, I have to defend this now. It's like, no man, you can call it out for being a dog shit fucking like a behavior or thing that happened without being like, I fucking hate this fandom now and have to dissociate with it.
Results in a reaction or use of the word cringe when the community is described by someone outside of it. And I think that is a common symptom many communities face when the media or topic it's based on becomes extremely popular, to the point where people that avidly enjoy it or have been there since it was a niche have to start hiding they ever had an interest in it. And there's nothing you can do to stop this, no matter how much gatekeeping is deployed. Once it graduates from a niche to mass consumption, you either deal with it, move on, or forever complain about it. There's no other option. But with
Only with VTubers, it's more about tourists rather than like Because it's such a broad niche, even though it is a niche thing, there's so many people that enjoy VTubing and are VTubers themselves.
That said, there is one community that stands above the rest when it comes to this.
God.
Their history of transgressions against humanity has been well documented. They were actually often described as the LeBron James of hated communities.
It's this guy. He does really cringe Deku, like, TikToks and Instagram reels. I remember this guy.
Previously, in their prime,
And
just
Bakugo.
uttering the name of it was enough to inspire a visceral reaction from a normal person, and that community was the My Hero Academia fandom. Yes,
Oh
My Hero Academia,
God.
the anime that was basically about a teenager becoming the top hero without originally having powers.
Wow, what a wholesome, like, idea. I sure hope it doesn't get ruined.
In a world filled with powers, heroes, villains, and apparently the French. And by the
Disgusting.
end of it, spoiler alert, he does become the top hero. Kind of, but then in the ending he sort of gets cooked and
McDonald's.
tossed to the side, which
Yep.
was still a better ending than Attack on Titan, and they actually added more and changed the ending of My Hero Academia in the manga and anime because people hated it that much. But yes, this was a community that was commonly
True.
only described with either the words cringe or toxic. In fact, did you know even Jeffrey Epstein was a fan of My Hero Academia?
You're lying. I thought he was just a has-been hotel enjoyer, what?
Now that was a complete lie, but you believed it.
But he did like Yuri and furry and has-been hotel Fuda animations. Yeah,
But with
that's
how much
real.
this
That is real. What I'm saying right now, that's real.
community was previously hated from the outside and the current state of the world, I wouldn't be surprised if you did believe it. But he was
Yeah.
apparently a Steins Gate fan, so
That's
do with that what
based.
you will. Also,
I mean, that's a pretty great anime. I'm not gonna say that you watch it, you automatically become a predator. That doesn't mean anything.
I know I did a video on this almost
It's
2 years ago
based.
now, but today, different than that video, I wanted to look into why this community more than
Basado.
others was hated so much, where said hate came from, and since the anime has recently ended, is the hate for it still as prevalent? But first, how did My Hero Academia and the community surrounding it come to be?
Deku, stop! Stop! Deku, I said stop diggling me!
Holy bazookas. Was that your butt?
So My Hero Academia
that
was
was your
first introduced
butt?
to the world through the manga that released in the weekly Shonen Jump in 2014.
Big deal.
Shonen Jump is like a
Ooh.
manga or magazine that usually contains the latest chapters of a variety of
It's a really big deal if you get into Shonen Jump as a manga creator, because that usually means that you will get your own anime at some point.
different mangas, and if
They're
a
very elitist.
manga lands in the Shonen Jump, it's seen as a big thing, as
Yep.
a lot of people read it in Japan, and it's
Yep.
where a lot of popular series like One Piece and Naruto initially received a lot of attention and was an
Naruto!
essential tool in their later success. The author of My Hero Academia is Kohei Horikoshi, who before he started working on My Hero Academia, he had published other mangas such as Barraged, Omadoki Zoo, and a bunch of one-shots like the manga My Hero, published in 2008. And if you couldn't tell, this was My Hero Academia before My Hero Academia existed. The main character is even called Jack Midoriya, a name shared with the later protagonist
Midoriya.
of My Hero Academia. They also shared a similar character design and backstory. This person also had no powers or a quirk in a world where they are heavily involved in day-to-day life, and despite being quirkless like Deku, he wanted to still fight monsters or villains. With the only significant difference between the two being this character was a 25-year-old businessman and not a high schooler. The author actually really liked this idea, but
It kind of looks like the author too.
didn't
Well, just a
consider
little
developing
bit.
it till
The
around
long hair.
2013, where a year prior his manga Barrage was cancelled after 2 volumes, and after being devastated with this, he decided to give the concept another shot. But in an attempt to cater to the Shonen Jump audience, he further refined the concept to the setting of a high school instead of a workplace, and with a main character
That's also part of the reason why kids related to it more and there was more cringe about it too. Because it's a more relatable setting.
significantly less emo, and thus My Hero Academia was born and saw somewhat instant success, being nominated for an award a year after its release in 2015, and in the same year the anime adaptation of the manga would be announced and begin production, with the first episode being released in April of 2016. And by 2017, the manga would reach over 10 million sales. So My Hero Academia most certainly hit the ground running, and so did the community. As with the release of the first season of the anime, it would lead to the title becoming increasingly popular, and it even became somewhat of a gateway drug for those that have never watched anime before.
This is actually, unironically, before the COVID weebs hit. Yeah, like, we all know what COVID weebs are, and, you know, we have some opinions about them, right? This was before. I think this was one of the last anime I unironically think that was, like, considered, like, it was mainstream, and it was becoming a lot more mainstream to like anime, but COVID definitely changed that a lot.
As by 2018 it was almost everywhere, which is unfortunate because that's when the anime started to become absolute dog shit. I'm sorry, but past season 3 it was terrible, and it only got better around the end of season 6, and you can actually chew on my freshly exported
but the last season I watched was with the unicorn girl, and then I stopped watching.
Kidney stone if you defend season 4 to the first half of season 6. Anyway, around 2021, My Hero Academia would hit its overall peak in popularity. It was deemed to be on the same level as other titans in the anime industry. It was mentioned and present on almost every platform, and you could not escape it. However, with its extreme popularity came somewhat of an adverse side effect, and that was now that it was considered a mainstream anime, the community was now so large, it cultivated an environment of people that maybe loved the anime a bit too much, to the point where some could say it became a
the TikToks where they're LARPing being Bakugo.
bit cringe.
We're not done.
I think Naruto, if that was around when social media was at the level it is now, that would have been the equivalent, because the Naruto community was very cringe, but it was also like not as propagated because Naruto became really popular, I want to say, yeah, before Shippuden, obviously, but I also think that, like, the most you'd get was maybe, like, fan art on DeviantArt and maybe, like, some YouTube videos here and there, like, you know, edit compilations. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like the kids didn't make cringe content, it's that it wasn't as available.
Daddy isn't done speaking. You will come back here. Daddy demands you to come back.
So at the peak of My Hero Academia's popularity in 2021 is when things like My Hero Academia cringe compilations started showing up on multiple platforms. And they got a lot of attention, gathering millions of views, and like most cringe compilations, they were a place for people to either physically recoil and curl their toes at the actions being committed.
I used to just watch them just to see if I could not cringe, and I got really good at it. There was one, I don't know if someone out there maybe knows what I'm talking about, but there was one cringe, like, instance of a group of furries that go to, like, Home Depot or some sort of, like, soft material shop, and they're, like, in their full outfit with their tails. They're two best friends, they're driving, they're, like, barking at people while they're driving. It was probably, like, 2013 or 14. When that was recorded, and I remember watching it and I was like, damn, this is making me cringe. Like, they would walk up to the employees and like bark at them and shit. Is this too niche? No, it is, absolutely. But like, I can't find that video. Foam Adventure? Oh my god, I can't believe it. Someone, I think I know what you know what I'm talking about. Foam Adventure furries. Oh, you know what I'm talking about! It's this! Oh my god, I can't believe it! This random chatter knows what I'm talking about! That's crazy! That's right! I can't watch this. It makes me cringe really hard. Maybe another time we do like a cringe compilation. It's that fucking video, man. Why does that chatter know? I don't know. It's just something that you just encounter, man.
made in front of
Thank
them.
you, Chad.
I still
Thank you.
can't believe this
I couldn't find that video for the life of me for like the longest time.
was a video, by the way. Or some just watch
It's
these videos to
crazy
laugh at the
cringe.
people doing things they never thought they themselves would do. Or there's the rare occasion narcissists watch these videos to use it as a confidence boost. But yeah, around 2021, people outside and within the My Academia community began to really notice how potentially corny the fanbase was.
Yeah.
And this was partially down to things like My Academia fatigue. Once again, this show was everywhere.
True.
It had multiple seasons, multiple movies, multiple games, and it was glazed as the best anime numerous times, mainly by the fans of it, much to the disagreement of people who actually watched other animes, like the peak that is Code Geass. People were just getting tired of it at this point and the supposed blind glazing behind it, but that is somewhat normal for a large anime. One Piece, for example, has been milked just as much as My Academia and glazed 10 times more, but that series is still nowhere near as infamous.
They've also been around for a long time, so other anime could take its place and it's not as saturated. I genuinely think the biggest issue that they have is that it came out during the TikTok era and then it bled into COVID. That's why, and it took a long time to finish. I think it only finished like 2 years ago, or was it like last year? I can't remember. I didn't follow it past that point where the unicorn chick. Yeah, I think overall it's just like fatigue really set in, and it's just like you can't get away from it unless you block it.
My Academia, because overexposure alone isn't the only reason it has
finish.
its reputation, because it's more to do with the community surrounding the anime more than the anime at all. Now, My Academia was mainly picked up by younger audiences, which is no surprise since its intended target audience was teens to young.
That's not always the case. Some shonens, they don't actually hit off that well with younger audiences. Obviously there's overlap, but I think it's mostly the setting. Yeah, like Attack on Titan is also full screen, brother. Oh, I'm sorry. I was ADHDing out. My bad. No, sorry. I'm like talking and thinking at the same time and like reminiscing, but like, yeah, what I'm trying to say is yes, I do think that shonens definitely have like a lot of adults that watch it, and that's totally fine, but I do think that the fact that it's set in a school, it's way more relatable to like the average stupid, silly, wholesome Chungus teenager that exists. And it's okay. By the way, I'm not shaming teenagers that much, because I think at the end of the day, I think all teenagers were cringe, even your parents were cringe. It's that the fact that they're putting it on social media is the issue. Like, I did some fucking cringe ass shit, but nobody's ever gonna see the light of day because I never posted it because I didn't have a fucking phone at a certain point, and my parents didn't have like the technology or the internet for me to post my cringe on the internet. Like, the most you probably get is some DeviantArt fucking drawings that I uploaded when I was like 12 years old. That's about it, really.
Adults. And with themes like heroes and villains and a world where almost everyone except the cook by default has a quirk, which is not only going to increase initial interest in the anime from said target audience, but also increase interest in the overall concept, as they may start doing things like making
it is a cool concept, I will give them that.
Their own characters with their own quirks.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. You can make your own original characters. The reason why all of these at the top of the list, like Sonic, One Piece, any anime in general, if it has the type of setting where you can make your own original character, that's another thing that these kids can attach themselves to. And it gets them excited, like, oh my god, I can be this cool character and I can self-insert myself. Absolute like heyday for people to like call you cringe and like do cringe shit together.
And then it basically becomes a power scaling issue because my OC Nagasaki Man can destroy
Nagasaki Man is crazy.
your OC and one-shot the whole cast of characters in the show because he's that powerful. But because a lot of the fan base are young, most are unemployed, they get easily obsessed with things because when you're that young, you don't have priorities or worries, and maybe they have unrestricted access to devices without strong self-awareness, which results in what we saw with this community, a bunch of kids and teens.
That's why I refuse to believe that like our parents weren't cringe at the time. They were absolutely cringe. It's just, you just didn't know. How would you know? Like, the most you'd get is like a photo, maybe a video on like a cassette or something.
teenagers expressing their interest and love for this show, which isn't inherently a bad thing, they're having fun, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just in some cases, unfortunately, it led to a reaction of cringe from third parties.
Yep. Don't! Oh my god, I know this one.
Call me Kitty.
Okay, I won't. Kitty.
If they kiss, I'm gonna puke.
What? Wait, no.
Oh, stop.
And there was a lot of this from the My Hero Academia community, not only people expressing their interests in the show, but interest in things like ships, which is wanting a character.
Oh yeah, and then people mauled out when their ships don't become canon. Okay, so maybe he'll explain it. Yeah,
to have a relationship with another character, even if they have never been in the same room or shared any dialogue together. And in the case of My Hero Academia, this was one of the main topics posted about within the community, and some within said community took it way too seriously. On top of the fact some of the ships made no sense and some were just very weird.
Yep.
But it's safe to say that in their prime, the My Hero
child.
Academia community was infatuated with the idea of shipping. It was like 80% of what was posted at that time. People created montages of their favorite ship, in-depth lore videos explaining how even if these characters may hate each other in the show, that was actually a diversion.
It's like unironic schizo posting.
Implemented by her.
VTubers, this also happens with VTubers. People who fucking do collabs and shit, and they'll be like, oh my god, they like looked at each other and now they're fucking in real life. It's like, they live on opposite planets. Like, they live on opposite sides of the world. What are you talking about? They're like, no, it's real. I can feel it. I'm like an expert at like body language and like VTuber expressions and all this shit. And you're like, buddy, like, get off the computer.
Because those characters are actually both gay and both are heavily in love, and you can't tell them otherwise.
Gay.
And then you also had people who cosplayed as their favorite ship, and in some cases created their own scenarios involving said ship.
Jesus Christ!
But it did eventually get worse, because you had people.
And also, those kids are those people are underage. Like, granted, I don't know. It gets into the realm of like if it's two adults LARPing as kids. That's fucking weird, as long as they're not actually kids doing it with, like, an adult, like, who cares? But then you're looking at kids doing it, so it's like, what the fuck, man?
As said,
It's a joke, by the way. I know, but some people do take it seriously. They, like, really, really want those characters to be porking.
Way too seriously to the point where they would start a whole crusade if someone said anything negative about their ship, or heaven forbid shipped a character a part of their ship with somebody else.
This is a tale as old as time with anime, though, to be fair.
This led to a lot of infighting within the community, like guerrilla warfare infighting. It was quite common to see things like death threats and general abuse launched from one ship to another, and it even escalated to the point where these people would get angry and spike their cortisol if the show or even the manga remotely suggested their ship, which already had a 1% win rate of happening, was not in fact going to be canon. A key example was with the Bakugo and Deku ship, where in the show and manga it heavily suggests Deku and Araka have an interest in each other, instead of Deku being interested in the guy who bullied him for over half his life. And unfortunately for those fans, the story was not going to curve in a way where all along it was some tsundere I actually like you, but I'm going to act like I hate you type shit. And in the chapters where it shows Deku is obviously interested in Araka, the Baku Deku fans would lose their shit. In one event, shippers even started spamming the creator's social media because they wanted him to make their ship happen, which wasn't the first time
Social media was a mistake, bro.
the creator was targeted for some of the story choices he made for My Hero Academia. Around 2021, he would receive an influx of death threats due to the fact in the story he made it look like the character Endeavor, who initially was this terrible abusive father, was on some sort of redemption arc where he realized how much of a shit stain he was and was trying to improve himself and the relationship with his kids. And because Horikoshi was
that was a sad arc too. That was a sad story.
Fleshing him out as a half-decent character, some people online thought he shouldn't be portraying this fictional, previously abusive character as anything but a bad person, so they sent him death threats.
It's a fictional character, my guy.
for a fictional character, by the way. But events
Bro,
like
these
this, the
people are mentally
overexposure,
ill,
the
man.
excessive posting, and the shipping, all were responsible for where the community is to this day and having the reputation of being toxic, cringe, and one of the worst anime communities. But said reputation came about during the peak of its popularity, around 2021. And it's been some time since then. The main anime has recently ended. Yes, there is a spin-off anime that got a decent amount of attention, but not as much as the main storyline. And My Academia in general is no longer as popular as it previously was. And a lot of the people within the community have grown up and moved on since then. So it begs the question, in the current year, is the My Academia community still just as cringy and toxic, or has it gotten worse or better? Well,
no, because the anime ended. That's really ultimately the reason.
Looking at it today, things have definitely calmed down. Regarding the cringe, it's more people doing it for irony's sake, less people
Who
doing
in the heck got Deku pregnant?
it without self-awareness. Don't get me wrong, the community is still active, but it's more just edits, animations, and people reminiscing of how cringe it used to be. You do get the odd post claiming how other anime communities are doing the same things they were doing in 2021, but they don't get as nearly as much as they did. A common example used is the Chainsaw Man community. I still can't get that one fucking "We Came to Goon" audio out of my head after Instagram Reels exposed it to me. There's also the Jujutsu Kaisen.
I mean, Chainsaw is a lot of fan service. It is a Gooner anime. And I like Chainsaw Man too. It is a Gooner
but
anime.
To be fair, they have enough self-awareness to know they are posting cringe and brain rot. Regarding toxicity, it's significantly improved, especially with things like the game of battleships. There are still posts involving ships, but a lot less, and there's less argument.
Fortnite, I forgot about that, dude.
Surrounding them. They seem to have adopted a less aggressive
That's
approach, even if there is a ship that contradicts theirs. But yeah, to me it seems like a lot of the core fanbase has grown up or moved on since it ended. And that has led to a lot of the problems and cringe this community was known for being less prevalent. It's actually quite tame now compared to its prime. But even with that said, it still has a dog shit reputation, and admitting you're a My Academia fan in the current day will still result in a prompt decline to your social credit score.
Kachan, sing the song, please!
Fine, I'll sing it, Deku! Kachan, you can call me Kachan.
So
Oh my god, I just took like 10 million psychic damage.
in conclusion, I have a confession
I'm
to
gonna
make.
barf.
I used to be a My Hero Academia fan.
I watched season 1 through 3, and then I watched the fucking season with the unicorn. I can't remember what episode it was. Or not episode, what season that was. Yeah, I always hated it. That's fine too. I totally get it. I liked it. It was a cool premise. It had good voice acting, good music, good animation. Was this season 4? It was pretty alright. It wasn't terrible, but definitely anything after that was ass.
Which is not really a fucking secret. The videos I made when I was still a little spam cell are still on this channel,
That's
and I've been
cute.
very open about it. I wasn't
A unicorn? No, it's a long story. It's a little girl that has a unicorn on her head, and basically she fucking is the answer for a lot of. I don't want to spoiler it because it spoils the whole thing. But basically, they save that little kid. She's cute. Like, it's a cute freaking. It's a cute little arc.
like a die-hard fan. I never really got into ships. I just like the story and the characters. I even had multiple My Academia phone cases
Oh
for
my God.
multiple years.
Holy shit, you were such a nerd.
Which did lead to bullying, but eventually as I grew up I got less interested in it, especially as I was introduced to other animes. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
was
too,
a
that.
cringe My Academia fan in the past as well, so I have the credentials to make this video. Fuck you. The community back then
Whoa.
was a vastly different place compared to where it is today, but even if it has changed, the reputation is still there. It is still known as one of the most cringy, toxic communities, and it's going
definitely
to stay
is.
that way till another community takes that title. But as said before, there are a few competitors right now, but they have a long way to go till they surpass My
You can't compete with My Hero Academia TikToks in 2020 when COVID was just like rampant.
Hero Academia. But yeah, just something I wanted to talk about today. I hope you get sperm cramps, and that's all I had to say.
I don't have
and bye-bye.
sperm! I have eggs! Wow, this guy's a dickhead. You guys wanna spank this booty? Like, the fuck? Spank this, like, stupid little bird's booty. Egg cramps? That's called a period, bitch. You still have eggs? I'm not a hag! Not yet.